or what I was talking about, but yeah, we were talking about the Boston Bruins and the New York Islanders, and why I thought the Islanders, might be a tough play here today, just because Boston's coming off that tough game against the Rangers yesterday. They had some battles. There were some blows thrown last night. There was like some bad blood between those two teams. They didn't play much hockey. It was a 1-0 final. But coming off a game like that, and then heading to the Islanders, heading to New York, and this Islanders team won the last two games they played. So that's a good thing. They're on the right track. But I don't know. It's kind of hard for me to bet against Boston right now. And until they lose a game, I'm a guy. I say ride the streak. Definitely ride the streak with the Boston Bruins. When it comes to the total in this game, I was looking at the total, and it has the total at 5. I think this is the first 5 I've seen all season. And you hockey bettors know what I'm talking about. You lose that hook, and it's a 2-2 game, and you're praying for the push. Or it's a 3-2 game, and you're hoping that they don't score the empty net. So you missed that all-important hook with the 5.5 in this game. And a lot of it has to do with the fact that the Bruins played to a 1-0 score yesterday. And the Islanders the day before played to a 2-0 score. I still take it under, but I would prefer to take it under with the 5.5 instead of 5. But that's just my play. My play here would be the Bruins on the side. Let me see who's in the chat. Can you guys see or hear me now? Loving the Islanders today. I see you, Sean. The Islanders are the only team that have beaten the Bruins. I mean, I want to jump on the Islanders, but until the Bruins lose a game, I just can't. And even though the Islanders are playing a lot better, I think I'm still going to side with the Bruins here. Not happy about it, but I will side with the Bruins. All right, so that's our first game right there. So we're going to go with the Boston Bruins over the New York Islanders as our first free play. All right, the next game I'm going to get to is the Tampa Bay Lightning and the Florida Panthers. Now, these two teams have quite a history. It's a Battle of Florida. I have certain games that throughout the years that I find as my go-to games. Like, I know for a fact when the Florida Panthers and the Tampa Bay Lightning play, it's going to be a high-scoring game. Since 2018, I want to say 6 out of 7 or 7 out of 8 of their games have gone over the total of 7. So to see 5.5 here, I understand the goaltending is great. Vasilevsky on the Lightning side, Stanley Cup winning goaltender. On the other side, you have Bobrovsky. He's having the best season in his NHL career. Still hasn't lost a game in regulation. Last night's game, it was a 5-2 final. I see you, Sean, with the Tampa Bay revenge there. Stamkos will not be in the game. Stamkos is on COVID protocol, so they'll be missing their captain there tonight. And I think that's what happened to them last night. I think finding out getting the news that Stamkos isn't going to be playing, and then just kind of getting bum rushed by the Florida Marlins. Florida jumped on them early, and even though Tampa Bay tried to come back afterwards, they still weren't able to get there. So with this game, I'm not going to take a side. I'm definitely going to take the over in this game, and it is at 5.5. So that's my second play, taking the over on the Tampa Bay Lightning Florida Marlins game. No, Florida Marlins baseball. Florida Panthers game, taking the over 5.5. All right, and now for my third and final hockey pick. In the NHL, that's called a hat trick. If you have 3 goals, so we're going for 3 winners here. Let's go for the hat trick. And I told you earlier that it is Saturday night. It's hockey night in Canada, and it's only right that we go to Toronto, where I'm from. I'm from Mississauga, and we have the Canadiens and the Maple Leafs. And this rivalry is an old rivalry. It goes back, I want to say, over 100 years. But these are two teams that don't like each other. All right, they don't like each other. Montreal feels like they're Canada's team. Toronto feels that they're Canada's team. So it's that kind of battle that's going on here tonight with the Canadiens and the Toronto Maple Leafs. As far as the side, now I have a former hockey player that's a friend of mine here in Vegas that I talk to sometimes, and we go over sports bets and we go over hockey picks. So this game kind of came up, and he asked me, "Hey, who do you like today?" And I was like, I'm kind of looking at the Leafs. They're a good team. They're the favorite to win the Stanley Cup. They just beat the Canadiens 2 games ago. They just look to be so solid. I don't see any weaknesses right now in the Toronto Maple Leafs. People don't talk about their goaltending because their forwards are so talented and they have so much star power that how can you not talk about Austin Matthews or Johnny Tavares, you know? Yeah, Toronto just looks to be that team right now. And Montreal coming in, I guess reading the papers, they just came off a shutout by the Edmonton Oilers and they were just beaten by the Toronto Maple Leafs 2 games before. Yeah, they might have a chip on their shoulder. So that's what Bob kind of told me. Bob Hammer told me today. He's like, well, you know, Kurt, it is hockey night in Canada. And I was like, yeah, I do know that. And I probably should consider it, but I'm not. I'm going to go with the Toronto Maple Leafs. I get the hockey night in Canada. I look at these lines. When you have a team as good as Toronto and like the game before, you could get them at minus $1.10. And now here it opened up at $1.20 and you see the money kind of moving up. Take advantage of these opportunities now. I'm not saying that Montreal isn't a good team. They're just not the Toronto Maple Leafs. And as far as hockey night in Canada goes, I understand the revenge factor. I definitely, you know, could see this going either way. This would probably be a higher scoring game. If Montreal's trying to keep this competitive, they're definitely going to have to put up some points. So I could definitely see this being a higher scoring game. But as far as who's the better team right now at this point in the season, I still say it's Toronto. They've already beaten them twice. The last game, they didn't really have any issues with them. Montreal is one of the highest scoring teams in the league, but so is Toronto, you know? So yeah, as far as that goes, Battle of Canada, I'm going to go with the home team. I'm going to go with Toronto. I hope they're not reading the paper, seeing that, hey, we're favored to win the Stanley Cup. That must mean that we're really good. So I'm hoping that doesn't come back to haunt me or bite me in the end. But that's going to be my third and final pick as far as my free play today. So we have the Toronto Maple Leafs beating the Montreal Canadiens. I took the over with the Florida Marlins. There we go again with the Florida Panthers and the Tampa Bay Lightning. And I took the Boston Bruins to beat the New York Islanders. So that's my hat trick right there. Let's see if we could start this show off going 3-0. And let me see who's in. Hi, Allie. All right. What'd you say, Sean? Sean says, ride them while they're hot. Exactly. Yeah, you ride the streak. And whenever you have, you're welcome. And whenever you have teams that are streaking like that, it's like with anything. Yes, eventually they're going to lose. And I call that like the streak buster. Like you want to be the streak stopper. Like, oh, they've won 9 games. You know, this is going to be the game they lose right here. You know what? I'd rather, if I'm going to lose riding the streak than instead of going against it. And if you guys have any questions, if you have any hockey questions, any NBA questions, please drop them in the comments. Please hit like, subscribe, and ring the bell for notifications. This show right now, I'm doing it Saturdays. I believe I'll do it again on a Friday and probably sometime during the week. I'm not sure yet. I want to see what the card looks like so we have a lot of information. We have a lot of things to talk about. All right. What does this say? How's it going? I'm saying hello to. How you doing, Tony? All right, I'm going to switch over to the NBA. If you guys have anything that you want, any questions you have about today's games, maybe a game that I didn't talk about, we still have a lot of good games in the NHL, a lot of good rivalries going on. The Coyotes game is turning out to be the Coyotes rivalry, the series right there. This is going to be the 6th game that they're playing in a row, so that's turning out to be quite the rivalry, quite the good matchup. So recap at the end. Okay. So that's another good series that you might want to take a look at if you're looking to bet some hockey. Now, what I usually do with hockey is I do a lot of in play, and you know, before the game, everybody has their predictions, and I get that, but there's just so much value in NHL in play. I don't even think you get this much value like in football or baseball, because you could bet the periods and you could bet the end of the game like in the first period. You know, it's crazy, but the odds are 6 to 1. It could be a 1-0 game in the first period, and you might pick the opposite team to win, and you'll get a 6 to 1 odd. You'll get 6 to 1 odds just for picking them to win the game in regulation. Like it's the first period. If you've handicapped the game and you know they're going to come back like so many teams do in the NHL, then you know it's definitely a good opportunity. So I'm going to find a way to touch on that as well. Round robins are another thing that I like to do with the NHL, just because you have so much opportunity for plus money, for plus juice. You know, Why not? Why not? If it's there, why not take it? Dogs win all the time. You have favorites that cover the puck line every day. You just have all these opportunities to get really good value with really good teams. One of the teams that I talked about earlier today, the Tampa Bay Lightning. Now that's a team with value. You want to talk about covering the spreads and winning by 2 goals and getting you that plus 150 and that plus, yeah, that's Tampa Bay. I want to say 5 out of their last 6 games have been puck line covers. Yeah, so that's another thing you want to know. You want to know the teams that are going to get the money for you that are capable of winning by 2. Okay. I see here in the comments. Yeah, we could switch over to NBA and talk Utah Jazz. Does anybody fade the Utah Jazz? When do you fade them? Yeah, I do think that they beat Miami today. The spread that I have right now is 6 and 218 is the total. If I could get Utah laying 6, I'll take my chances. I understand it's the Miami Heat. I think they still have injury issues. But it's the Utah Jazz, and Utah's playing at home. And until I see something different, like I bet against Utah probably 2 weeks ago, and that's the last time I bet against the Utah Jazz. I saw what they did to Milwaukee yesterday. They've been in all these situations where this player's out for COVID protocol, or when Donovan Mitchell was out for concussion protocol. It just does not matter. Back-to-backs, it just doesn't matter with this team. It's definitely a good play. Getting them -6, because you're not going to see that too often. And sometimes when you see the -6 or the -3s for the Utah Jazz and they're winning by double digits, it's because they want you to feel like, hey, this team is probably competitive enough to stay close with them. All right. Oh, you're taking 6. All right. There's no money from 3. All right. Give me the Jazz, Kurt. All right, Heat Pete. Yeah, that's until they hit that bump in the road. I mean, it happens with every team when teams go on these long winning streaks. When they, we've seen it in the NFL. We've seen it in baseball. Teams go on these long streaks and they're just unbeatable. It's like, yeah, you ride the streak until they show you something. I need the Jazz to lose 2 games in a row, and then maybe I'll start fading the Jazz. But it's like after that first loss, whenever it happens. Yeah, we're probably gonna pound them again, especially coming off a loss. So I think the Jazz are a really good pick, are a really good play today. What I wanted to talk about was this total. We've been talking totals, on different shows. Allie and I were talking these NBA totals. She had someone on her Morning Wood show talking about never taking an NBA game under again, just because of the amount of scoring in this league. It's unbelievable. Nobody's playing defense. Well, maybe the Knicks are playing defense. I like to think that the Knicks are playing defense. Tom Thibodeau, I'm a big fan of what's going on, Joe. I'm a big fan of Tom Thibodeau and the way he's kind of had his teams, except for Minnesota, the Bulls back in the day when he was with the Spurs as an assistant, and even now what he's doing with the Knicks. I don't think anybody could say that, oh yeah, I thought the Knicks would be this good this year. I definitely saw the Knicks putting up the kind of numbers that they're putting up, or competing in the games that they're competing in. What's going on, Joe? How you doing, partner? Let's see. I need a hockey lock for tonight. We don't do locks. I hear this on the Morning Wood. There are no such thing as locks. If you want a really, really good hockey bet, I definitely think you should look at that over in the Tampa Bay Lightning game. Joe, I think that's money right there. Let's see. Let's say lack of defense. It's too hard on their bodies. Yes, I agree. I don't know what I co-signed to, but I definitely think the lack of defense. Yeah, the NBA players. Yeah, that's probably it. Yeah, plus money, honey. That's probably what it is. Too much wear and tear on their bodies, so they'd rather not. The reason why I brought that point up is because we have a total with the Nets and the Warriors at 242.5. Drop a comment. Tell me what you think about that. I've already made up my mind. Like, there's absolutely no way I'm taking that game over. I will lose, like, score 243. That's all I got to say. Score 243. Not saying that they can't, but when you put the number up that high, the Nets, the last game they played, they had the total at 235.5. Was a dead under. I think maybe they scored 200 points that game. And I was on that over too. So yeah, you see the Nets and you hear Kevin Durant's coming back, and that's exactly why they have the total at 242.5. If I had to bet that game, and of course they're playing against the Warriors, KD going back to Golden State, so this is the hype. But 242.5 is an unbelievable. Unbelievable number. Let me see. What do you say, Elliot? Ah, there you go. Some love for the plus money. We love the plus money, honey. I think everybody loves the plus money, honey. Like the Pacers and the Knicks tonight. Yeah, I see you, Elliot. Yeah, the Pacers against the Hawks. The Hawks, what's this? The third game for the Hawks this week? Just coming back home. Yeah, the Knicks, the Rockets, ever since Christian Wood went out, the Rockets have really struggled. And it seems like there's a different player out of Houston's lineup every game. John Wall misses a lot of games. I know, like I said, Christian Wood's missing games. Somebody in the chat just said Oladipo is going to be out tonight. Yeah, and I was just talking about that defense in New York. That'll probably be a lower scoring game, but then you see it reflected in the number here at 210. But even at 210, I'd still take that under. I've been betting the Knicks under like all season. Yeah, some games they'll be able to put up points, and believe it or not, the Houston Rockets are starting to emphasize defense. Like this is something that they talk about. We think about the Rockets teams in the past and D'Antoni and the 7 seconds or less, and that whole mentality, like, oh yeah, let's just chuck up threes. But yeah, this Houston Rocket team's not like that at all, and you will see them play better defense. You don't really know who's on the team because they just kind of threw these guys together this year. But yeah, I think that's a good play for the under the 210. I don't have an actual official play on it, but that's just my thoughts on that game right there. All right. Yeah, Golden State Warriors is an active dog. I do not like the Brooklyn Nets as a favorite. I never like the Nets as a favorite. Yeah, I just don't. I've fallen into that hype. Like, hey, Kevin Durant's back. Kyrie Irving's back. James Harden's back. This lineup is unbelievable. Yeah, it's a great lineup, but these guys just haven't played together, and they haven't played well together. So it's kind of like a soap opera. What's going to happen now? Kevin Durant's coming back to the team. What are we going to see? I don't know how many games we've actually seen. Like, this is the true Nets team. Like, this is who they are. So I'm not on that. I think Golden State is definitely a live dog, Elliot. I think they are good. No, is that Elliot? Who is that? Andrew. Thank you, Andrew. Yeah, I like Golden State. I think that's definitely a live dog. Yes, Kevin Durant is back. Let's see. What hockey team are we most confident? And now, if I started this show earlier, let me see what the score is in this game. Ottawa and Winnipeg. Yeah, the biggest favorite on the board today was the Winnipeg Jets playing Ottawa. Ottawa's the worst team. Ottawa's the worst team in the league, and every game they're pretty much going to be a $2 favorite. I mean, $2 underdog. Every game, whoever they're playing is going to be a $2 favorite, and that's not always going to come through for you. Sometimes you're going to take the +1.5, and you're going to have the value with the Ottawa Senators. But yeah, those are just games that I just stay away from. But as far as the top pick for tonight, I like the Columbus Blue Jackets. All right, and I'll tell you why. Columbus is on a 2-game winning streak. It's 2 or 3 game winning streak, playing the Chicago Blackhawks. And beginning of the season, the Chicago Blackhawks were, hey, this is a rebuilding year. Pretty much don't expect much from us. We have 3 goaltenders. We're trying to figure things out. This is like a message to the fans early on in the season. But they surprised everybody. They found a goaltender out of nowhere. Kevin Lankinen has come in and really shored up that number 1 goaltender position. But when I look on the other side, I see the Columbus Blue Jackets, and this team is like tough as nails, kind of like their coach. Their coach is a hard ass. If you don't know Mr. Tortorella for the Columbus Blue Jackets, yeah, he's a hard ass, and he benches star players. And over the last few years, there have been big names that are like, I want out of Columbus. I don't want to play for him. Yeah, I want out. So that's what the Blue Jackets have had to deal with, where you're losing star players that are leaving, goaltenders, scorers. They just lost Pierre-Luc Dubois, ends up getting traded to the Winnipeg Jets for Patrick Laine, and you get Patrick Laine, and he's already benched by Tortorella. So in this game, it seems like the tougher team to me is the Columbus Blue Jackets. Their coach, their players, they have good goaltending, and everybody's kind of waiting for them to fall off. Chicago, we didn't expect this from them. I don't think these two teams are close enough for me to just lay 110 with Chicago. I think it's definitely the other side. And that's what the line was yesterday. Yesterday, the line was around 110. I just think Columbus is the better team. I definitely think that's the play of the day. You take the Columbus Blue Jackets to beat the Chicago Blackhawks if you want to know one hockey play that I just absolutely love. Okay, what do we have here? Senators, yeah, Senators are a live bet. When you have those teams that are -$2, I look for value in the in play with the periods. Like you could get the Senators just to win the second period, or you could get a better number with the Senators in play if you see how the game's kind of going. Before the game, it's pretty bad because it's lay the $2 or not, or take the plus 180. But once the game's kind of started and you see what's happening, you'll know if the Senators are going to be in. Like this game, you have a $2.20 favorite. The Senators are going to be in this game. This will not be a blowout for the Winnipeg Jets. This isn't going to be a 2-goal game. This will be one of those games that end up, where the dog covers the puck line. So, yeah, I definitely agree with you. Okay. The under in what game is better, Elliot? Let's see. All right. I think that's it. I don't have anything else to pretty much say. Anything else I really wanted to go over? L-Craft. All right. I can't leave. I just saw Laterica. All right. Laterica, thank you. Thank you. You guys are my day ones. Let me put that up there. My day ones for the midday parlay. Oh, for the Blackhawks game. Yes. Elliot, the under for the Blackhawks game. Yes. I took the under the first game. It was a 6-5 final. Unbelievable. These two teams, that's not how they play ever. But they link up for this one game and they just have a shootout. Yeah, I would definitely say take the under again. I like that pick. And taking the over in the Jazz. Let's see what the over is in the Jazz game. Got 218. Yeah, you're so used to seeing 220s, 230s. Yeah, I can see that. The Jazz played last night, right? Yeah, the Jazz played last night, and I'm not sure how they do on back-to-backs as far as their totals. I haven't statted that. I know I checked on. There was a game earlier in the season where I saw that they had back-to-backs, and I was just kind of checking it out because they had the exact same total as the game before, but in this game, Donovan Mitchell was out, and I'm thinking, wow, you're missing, so many points from Mitchell. How are you going to have the total? And it went over that total again. So yeah, I'd have to agree. I like the over. I like the over in that Jazz game as well. Thank you, L-Craft. Don't worry. Thank you, Laura. Thank you, Laterica. Okay. All right, let me do a quick recap. So my plays for today. All right. First midday parlay 3 play. Hey. All right. I'm giving you the over in the Florida Panthers and the Tampa Bay Lightning game. That's at 5.5. I believe it's at $1.20. These teams go over all the time. So they went over yesterday. I know star players are going to be out, but if there's a way to bet this game, you take the over in this Tampa Bay Lightning game. The Boston Bruins and the New York Islanders. Boston is coming off a big game yesterday, so they might be exhausted from all the fighting they did with the New York Rangers. But they're going up against an Islanders team that's still trying to figure things out. The Islanders were like on a 5-game losing streak before they ended up winning the last 2. And they're going up against a top team. Even though they've beaten them before, I'm going to stay with the Boston Bruins until the streak comes to an end. So we're going to take Boston as our second pick tonight. And our third play of the night, before I even tell you guys about this third play of the night, I want to ask you to watch something. It has to do with this third play of the night. So growing up in Canada in Mississauga, Ontario, there was a cartoon or a little kids show that we watched when we were younger in school called The Sweater. So if you got, of course you got YouTube, just type in the sweater Canadian short film and check it out. It has to do with this series right here between the Montreal Canadiens and the Toronto Maple Leafs. I took Toronto, but this is the one game that I am worried about just because it is hockey night in Canada, and I'm sure you all know what night that is. It's tonight. So that's a big game if you guys want to check it out. That's going to be a really, really good game with the Toronto Maple Leafs and the Montreal Canadiens. And my play on that one is going to be the Toronto Maple Leafs just because I think they're better. The hockey night in Canada and the old rivalry factor does come into play here, but it's big brother, little brother. Big brother Toronto, little brother Montreal. All right. So those are my plays. And as far as the NBA, we touched on a couple NBA plays. Everybody seems to like the Jazz. I'm not really a fan of the Rockets right now. And the Rockets are favored. Like these games with the Rockets without all these players, it's like 2.5. I'm like, really? That's just crazy to me, especially since this team's just been kind of thrown together. So, yep, I like the Knicks in that spot. And I think we were talking about the Warriors and Nets game. I don't know if anybody's going to take that one over, but I definitely want to take that one under just because Kevin Durant's coming back. That just seems like that game where the announcers are going to say, hey, there's going to be so many points scored this game, and it's going to go dead under. So that's going to be the game that I take under. All right. Well, thank you guys for joining me. This is my first show. Thank you for all my day ones. I will have another show coming soon. And good luck tonight. It's hockey night. Enjoy.